Hyper Peaches!
Welcome to our 26th episode. I'm Erica.
And I'm Joyce.
Hello, Joyce.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I was a little bothered by what I experienced yesterday.
What did you experience yesterday that you didn't tell me yet?
I told you already, the site visit. It's actually bothering me, but at the same time, I'm feeling quite okay. It's a little chillier today, and so I'm feeling pretty good about
chillier or chiller? Chillier is
more
spicy.
More chilly.
Oh my god, we need to look this up. Anyways,
yeah.
How would you rate your, I guess, day so far? A week?
It's been 6-7ish.
Okay.
It's a long week ahead.
True.
Busy week as well.
True.
And yeah, so
just a normal regular week.
Just a normal regular chiller week.
Nice.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Is there anything bothering you?
No.
That's good.
Nothing. Oh, I was gonna tell you this. Like, I've been really tired. Like sleepy tired, and I think it has
the
to.
Weather.
It's the 100% the weather.
Yeah, going to hibernation.
Yeah, because it's like I normally in the summertime I sleep like 8ish hours, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Damn.
And then now I sleep
for 8 hours.
That's normal, no?
You're blessed.
For normal 20-something-year-olds. But anyways, like chillier weathers now. Like even when I sleep like the same amount of hours, I'm still super tired, right? Yeah, it is the weather.
It's the weather.
Yeah,
seasonal depression.
Yeah.
Brings me back to that topic. I almost forgot about this term, but then somehow Emma Chamberlain's latest podcast episode just
recently
reminds me of that. Yeah, she was talking about that. It is real, right?
It is real.
We have to agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think it's gonna be exciting, because we're going to kickstart this week by going through our new podcast today episode. It's quite an interesting one. It's a little bit of a down memory lane. It's a little bit of like going backtrack through our younger days. I don't know why I said that. What the hell? But yeah, just basically I think we both shared an experience, which is, we both studied abroad. Kind of for you. Yeah. Lived abroad, right?
Lived abroad for me, yeah.
Something abroad, right?
Yeah,
something abroad, yeah. And I think within that experience, it's why actually, maybe I can kind of start off why I wanted to talk about this topic. It came very naturally for me because I don't know, like I recently find myself, I'm always a person who likes to kind of think back to the past and just like ponder around like what are the things that I learned, what are some things that I experienced, reflection, yeah. And I don't know, I've just been like going back to a lot of my college days, where I feel like I changed so much, right? And I think it's really for the better. It was for the best. I think I almost in a way like I couldn't recognize the person that I was before. Like now that when I think about like the moments, the way I said things, the way I dressed, the friends that I made, or like the way I talked, it's like, and the approach to everything, basically, it's so different and it's so drastic to change because it's
matured.
It's matured a lot for a decade, right? It is a decade if I think back, and I think it doesn't do justice for just one short podcast to talk about a decade of our experience. But I think we can kind of share like some juicy moments or some like special moments that we want to share. And kind of like dissect and talked about the things that we've learned. Is there any regrets? Anything that we are like very interesting that maybe some people can resonate with?
Yeah. And how has that kind of shaped us into
exactly
who we are, how we are today? Maybe. Yeah. So do you want to start off? Remind our listeners. Where have you studied at? Where have you gone?
I've been I've been nowhere today. I've been here.
Studied. You don't study anymore.
Studied. So yeah, when I was, I don't even remember the year, let's not go year, but when I was 15, 16, I left Hong Kong, and then I went to Monterey Bay, which is in California, and I studied there for high school for about a year and a half, in high school for junior year, second semester of junior year, and then senior year, final year.
Okay.
So that was like very short but sweet, I would say. And then I think moving on, I wanted to touch on more. It was really when I kind of start to learn about myself, and was really college, which was in Hawaii, Honolulu. I did 4 years of undergrad there. And yeah, that was when I was 18 until I was 21, 22. Yeah, 22. And then I actually worked there for a year, so 5 years. So totally I've stayed in the States for, come to think about it, like 6.5 actually, if not.
That's a lot.
That's quite a decent, a lot.
And it's like during your most youthful.
You could put a thank you.
No, but I would say that is the period where most people go through like the most amount of change.
Yes, it's a very transitional period, I would say.
Transitional,
right?
Yes, that's the word I was thinking.
How about you? Where tell people where have you been?
Well, born and raised, studied in Hong Kong, but I did just, like a bit of I did a year in the UK for my postgraduate degree, and also exchange in Taiwan for half a year. I would say for me it's not a lot. It's just 1.5 years ish of experience.
Yeah,
but
short and sweet. But because I went to two very different countries, so yeah, I think I also experienced some stuff where I wouldn't exactly say change the person that I am, right.
But learn a thing or two
for sure.
And, hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'm matured a little too.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to touch on was I think because the independence, well, we're going to talk about the things that we learned, but one of the main thing that I want to talk about was because I think for me was I had a lot of time with myself back then, more so than now, because I really didn't have any family members, no relatives. I mean, first, like to and foremost at the beginning, I didn't have any friends, so it was more like just really me and my own, and dealing with issues, right? Like independency, dealing with like emotionally I was like homesick, and there was just like a lot of internal mentally, but then also I had to like act like I'm kind of grown up as an 18-year-old, so I just wanted to touch on that. And
wait, I've never asked you that, but when you first left Hong Kong, like did you leave, like did you go to study abroad voluntarily, or did your parents
it was voluntarily.
Okay, so you wanted to go.
Yes, but like, see, the funny part was like me wanting to go and me being there for the first 3 months.
When reality hit,
it was like the reality bus hit, and I had a moment of regret that 3 months because it was so hard. Yeah, it was a lot of homesick, and it was a lot of just new environment, and me being the what's the English phrase? 插班生 for that. People were older. People already have like
just
cliques and bonds.
In school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was really rough.
It's good that because it's not your first time in the States. It was your like time. Sure. You're actually quite familiar with the environment when you first got there, but it's just more about like blending in with
really
the
living there,
and the people there.
I would say so, yeah. And I think the language barrier really helped. Like I would say I was very comfortable with English, so that was already a really big help, being able to be more vocal.
Of course.
But yeah, I think what we should do. We should dive in now to kind of talk about like our kind of events or like main things that we want to touch on that happened through the years of living / studying abroad. I think maybe I can go first, and then we can go like this, back and forth. That'd be cool. So I think the first one that I wanted to talk about was, so how like in college there's a lot of associations, there's a lot of clubs, right? And for me, the funny thing was like I when I went to college, I was like, oh, I don't need clubs, the way I perceived clubs was like, oh, it's just a bunch of people trying hard to form a group. I don't know, that was my perception. I was very deceptive or negative about it. But then I was like, forced, like, luckily by someone, and then they were like, oh, you're a fresh, freshman, and like there's no harm to it, just go check it out, there's parties and stuff. I'm like, okay, sure. And then, like, long story short, like, I was there for like all 4 years, actually, which was quite long.
Well, creature of habit, right?
Yeah, I really was.
And you really enjoyed like the time bonding with other people.
Yeah. It's I think if I had like an hour to talk about this club, I could, because I really saw a lot of myself now developed then, like within this community, within this club. What I meant was, like, it wasn't really just all parties and games. It was a lot of self-growth, and it was a lot of kind of business related too, because we were a club that was trying to like self-fund. We were a club that was trying to bring all these different different cultures and different like country like people together. So it was a lot about diversity. It was a lot about like public speaking. It was a lot about socializing, presenting yourself, and creating a community basically at a place that you're not familiar with. And I think
how big is the society?
Dude, it was like 150.
Wow.
At the beginning.
So you were the president for
the end, which was 4 years, like towards my senior year, my last year.
I see.
But actually it decreased over the years. Actually, I don't know why it decreased over the years now that I think about it. But I think, it decreased over the years, and so it went from 150 when I first joined. 180, 150 was like the most. And then when I was the president, the last semester was before I graduated, was like 50 to 60 people.
That's a huge decrease.
That is a huge decrease, yeah.
Maybe just people graduated and like.
I think so. And there were more clubs formed as well.
Say that, yeah.
But I don't know. Actually, I don't have a main point to this. I just wanted to share because
no, I mean, running a club president is a big thing. It's the biggest thing during your college years,
yes,
right?
It was one of the most memorable. It's one of the biggest things that I could like kind of say that I earned. I grew up to be, because I actually failed when I was like, was that junior year or something? I tried to run for president. And then I really, really wanted it at that time, because I was like, you know what? Like, I put in the effort, I put in the time, I know people, and then I think I'm popular now. I don't know, like, a lot of things. And then I had a really big ego then. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to run. And then I think at that time, there was actually quite a lot of people running, because it was president, it was vice president, treasurer, secretary, events people, PR people.
But is it like you're running as an individual for one specific position, or you guys like have to form a committee and run
committee?
Oh, okay. So as a committee.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So it was like kind of a big ass deal, like in college. This is like the it thing, right? And it was like the only thing that I could think about that it mattered. And so because I wanted so much, I think in a way that kind of translates to like chur vibe, which is like now that in Canto it has a very negative and kind of like a negative tone to it sometimes. Depends on how you say it, right? Like teacher, or like there's like a lot of terms to that, right? But the way I used it was like very bad, because I think people was like, oh, like she really wanted it, and the way she presented it was maybe too much,
tried hard.
Yeah, there's like too many information, or she's like, so yeah, I lost, and I still don't know why. I still don't know why. Maybe I didn't know enough people, or not enough people that wanted to vote for me. Came a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, a lot of factors.
Doesn't matter. But I was like, I grew so much from that. I was like, you know what, like maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe this is actually not the time. Like maybe I should focus on actually passing my exams first, and then I'll try again in a year or two.
Yeah.
And then that's when I got it.
Do you think it shaped you to become the kind of like leader that you are right now in
I'm a leader. Thank you.
No, that is not leader, that's Miss Hong Kong.
Queen? Miss Hong Kong, yes.
Waving.
What is leader? What do they do now? I don't know. What is the gesture of a leader? But anyways.
Shaking hands.
Yeah, why? What was your question?
Like,
Sorry.
what did you think it shaped you to become the kind of leader that you are now? You know, there are different kind of leaders, right? Like you're one that is like very cooperative type, or like dominating type, or like so a more aggressive, manipulative. Well, it's kind of dominating, or like I don't know, just the kind of person that you are when you have to necessarily take the lead in different kind of, it could be a project, it could be like certain things.
Yeah, I think so.
Certain aspect in your life, even in your relationship.
Yeah. I think, you know, what I really learned was like, I don't want to phrase it leader as in like me trying to control people, because it's never about that. It's just about bringing people together and coming up with something really amazing. And so to me was like, I think it's me being able to define what are some things that I know I'm good at, and then take ownership in that, and then just be like, you know what, people, like other of the team members, you do your thing, don't worry about my part, because I know I will get that covered, I will get that done at work, I will make sure it's delivered, I will make sure the client is happy, I'll make sure everything is on point, it won't be late. So just like being able to take responsibilities for the right task necessary, it's something that I've really learned, because I think right now I'm not in a position of managing people. Like, I mean, for hyper peaches, we're kind of like just managing ourselves, right? And then for work, for our work wise, we don't really have like hierarchies too much, so it's more about kind of learning how to communicate with other people, and knowing, oh, maybe you're this type of person, then I have to communicate to you in a way that works for us. That's something that I've learned, is the communication part.
Yeah. Definitely, especially because, you know, you're sort of being the precedent for a multicultural society.
It really is, yeah.
So for real, like you have to speak to the right audience, like speak to their language, not just, I'm not talking about the literary part of it, but you know, like the culture and everything else. Sounds good. Yeah, I never really asked you too much about it, so I actually enjoy.
I have a lot to share, because a lot of my actually time and memory spent was within this club, right? So it's the 4 years, which was a lot.
Most of your friends came from that
exactly,
that group as well.
Exactly. And the wedding that I'm going next year is coming from that. So,
Congrats to Can I say something?
Yeah, Santa.
Santa, congrats if you're listening.
I don't think he is. He doesn't even follow our IG, but anyway.
Okay. Well, I'll take that back, Santa. Congrats, but you know, better
follow us. Okay, let's move on. I think I want to know more about your kind of your points that you want to touch on. What was like the first thing that you wanted to share?
Mine is very practical.
Go for it.
Because I'll talk about the a stupid thing first, because
that's what it originated from.
What do you mean originated from?
Like, I don't know, like your first point, right? It has
a
story, right?
Well, actually, I was thinking about the I'll talk about my first point. It's just, that happened because in both my experience, like in Taiwan and also in the UK, what my parents did was that they gave me like a whole stack of cash before I left, and then they were just like, you know, we're too lazy, and then we want to save like all those like administrative fees or whatever, service charges. So we're trying not to wire you any money. And so you, for those few months in Taiwan, like 6 months in Taiwan, and also like when I was in UK, I came back once in a while. So those few months, every once in a while, you only have that amount of cash to use. Yeah. I mean, except for they didn't want me to use credit card, so they're like, you know what, control your finance. You only have that much cash to use.
How long did it last at you? The stack of cash.
I cheated.
What do you mean you cheated?
Like, I just used my credit cards on some stuff. They told me not to, but you know, I use it. Are you not gonna like pay off my credit card bills? That was really hard, because I still am a little bit of it, but I was worse back then. I was a shopaholic. I think I told my listeners at the very beginning of out of our podcast episode. So controlling my finance
was something that you really learned.
So hard, because like when I was living abroad, I can only really live on that amount of cash, and then like I don't have anyone to ask for, I'm not gonna ask my friend to lend me money, right? Like I remember my roommates were asking people, oh, can you just like, you know, just spare me some cash first, I'll pay you back later, just spot me a little. There's nothing wrong with that, nothing, but I just don't want to build that habit, because once I started, I'm just gonna keep thinking that there's someone that I can rely on. Yeah. And so that was really hard for me.
That's kind of like the first time you were like dealing with your money.
Yeah,
and like
the most challenging parts. I was like some days I was really just like counting my own spending. I was like, okay, today I have like £10 to spend on this, and then like, and I can't spend more than that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have enough to go through next week, and then blah 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 blah. I was okay. It was tough. So
that's interesting. That like made you more money conscious, because they're like, okay, now that you're gonna be on your own in a different country, and money is inevitable. You have to use it. You have to use it wisely and plan it. So it's like, they kind of give you a freedom-ish to like.
It's annoying because I'm looking at my bank account balance at times. I do have money, but they're in Hong Kong, and I can't do anything with it. It's just annoying.
Damn. I mean, thanks for sharing. That's quite funny though. That stack of cash is like, I could picture it. It's like you, your mom and your dad, like, you know, in your house, and then it's like kind of dark, and then they're like at the table, and they're like,
you shove it into your bag. Take it. And you know how like when you go into like the immigration center, you have to fill in the declaration form.
Yeah, like how much do you have?
Yeah, exactly. And I was always like kind of like lowballing the amount. I was actually scared. It's like, don't actually open my bags or like my luggage, because you might find more cash in there.
It's from my parents,
but I have a passport. I am not illegal.
I'm not a thief.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Speaking of immigration, sorry, going out of the topic.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Because I mean, I've been studying abroad for so many years. Like I have so many experience and fear when I go through immigration, especially in the States. Yeah. Because but in Hawaii it's actually a little bit better because but in Hawaii it's thank God, because I mean the people who work there are, the officers there are mostly Asians too, so it's like a little more lenient. But one time when I was it wasn't the checking passport phase, it was it before or after? Anyways, there was a part where they get your immigration declaration form, and then sometimes they ask you questions. Oh yeah, like this is right before you go out, and then you say hi to your friends. Yeah. They're like, oh, did you bring any food? Okay. So I was dumb. I was like, okay, I need to be honest. Like, what if I lied? What if I lied and then they actually still open it, right? So I was like, I'm like, oh yeah, like I was so young. Oh my god, so innocent. And then they were like, oh, so what did you bring? What exactly did you bring? Like, what food? And then I said, I bring some I brought some like cup noodles, for the dorm and stuff, and they're like, oh, nice. What flavor are they? And then I was like, dude, I was
not chicken flavor. You stereotypical American.
No, I was like, so sleepy, and I was like jet lag mode, and then I was like, the first thing I thought of was like seafood, which I did, right? It was like 豬骨湯, and it was like海鮮湯or something, and then I was like, oh, like some like seafood flavored, I think. And they're like, nice, and they're like, go put your bag down there. And then I was like, oh my god. So they opened the bag. They took almost like 90% of my snacks, I think. And then
That's
I like
hard.
and then I was like crying. I was like, I took a day to go to Waihong to just like plan out my snacks and buy, and now you're taking it all away just for what? Just to throw it away in the trash? Dude, I'm telling you, horrific experience.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
lesson learned.
Lie better. So sad.
Never buy seafood cup noodles to the States.
If it's my protein bars, I would actually. They're so expensive, man.
But yeah.
Okay,
moving on.
Okay, so yeah. I see that we both had a kind of a mutual point.
Okay.
Well,
You want to start first, or
people
I go?
won't be surprised because that is such a
That's
big
kind of
part
like a
of
why not
us.
thing. Really?
relationships.
Sure. I mean,
we are all about. We're not all about it, but we're part of it.
We're kind of part of it, which is everyone, right? So relatable. Hashtag.
Yeah, exactly. You want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about it too.
Yeah, we
deep.
just.
Okay. Yeah, I think, you know, like new environment, new people, and then you're like, wow, you're like everything feels very like exciting, and then you see a person, you're like, wow, right? And then you're like super young. So but long story short, I've been a couple of, like, I would call it bad, like borderline bad relationship in terms of like not good for me, treating me like ass. Yeah, just those top two. But it's like in a constant time. It wasn't like one time. It was like I let them do it like over and over again, and then I'm just kind of like, you know what? Like, I don't know me, so like
pushover joy.
Yes, which we talked about it in the field. But like, long story short, like, I get to experience that in college, so now I make wiser choices in relationships for sure. And I kind of gauge people better. I'm like, okay, I kind of know what kind of person you are, I know what games you want to play, and I really don't have time for that because work is kind of very important and life is important now, in my health and everything. So I don't prioritize these people. But maybe before, it was a lot of like I craved the drama back then because I had something to talk about with my friends. It was a hot topic, but it was a toxic one, so it was like I couldn't define it. I actually maybe secretly love it too, right? I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of like what was a fraction of my living abroad, study abroad life was dwelling in these kind of ugly situations or not worth my time situations. And now I'm like, I should have known better, but it's also like I need to make these mistakes to know that I should have known better, right? So I mean, try and error, really no regrets. But it's just like, now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, dumb move, Joyce. Wrong turn, Joyce.
We're young. We're there to make like stupid mistakes, as long as it didn't cost you too much. Right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, back then, yes, it did, but now it's like, I would say it's like quite a few. Like, one of the best things that ever happened to me was like, oh, I've met those people, and it's like
enough assholes. Well, almost assholes. But, met enough like people not right for you in your life.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? Like, I used to like hate them so much, or I used to think that if I've ever seen them, like, how would I react? Do I have to like dress a certain way? Do I have to like impress them, or do I have to like do something, right? And then I think I'm now at this point in my life where I think I'm old enough to be like, I'm mentally, I'm so much more mature. If they do show up one day in front of me, I honestly have no kind of fear or anything. Like, if they use anything against me from the past, like, that's on them, shame on them, you know. But I don't think that could get in my way anymore because we're more confident people, you know.
Yeah.
But
I believe you won't.
But I get, like, I don't know. I want to ask you this. It's like kind of throwing the ball at you. It's like, when someone in the past comes back, like someone in the past that like affected you, right? Like, how do you like? I feel like some people automatically bring out themselves from the past to react to these people because that's just your kind of the 習慣, like the norm, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know what my question is here, but like, how would you react if you know they do show up in the most unexpected way? You can't plan for it. Like, how do you think you will respond to this?
I guess kind of a similar answer to you, because if it's like a few years back, I might bring out the toxic Erica
back then,
that she was when she was with these people. Just, you know, because deep down I think it's just a feeling of not getting over them yet. But right now,
you're so far from that.
Yeah, so far from that. Like, I remember everything.
Yeah,
but clearly. I wouldn't exactly cling on that feeling anymore. Like, I'm very content with what I have right now.
Yeah.
And I just choose to look forward to building even better stuff
Yeah.
with my significant other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But thank you for that lesson, because seriously, it's like I would just say that it's a mismatch. But they didn't exactly, like, they never do anything to hurt me.
Yeah.
Intentionally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think in a way, now that I think about it, it's a two-way thing, because because now we're like so self-reflective, or like, oh, we should have made better choices, oh, this is what we did wrong. But maybe they're immature as well.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like, it's not,
of course.
Like, sometimes I want to tell people that, like, don't get too, like, attached to your own feelings. Be like, oh, like, blaming on yourself. Be like, oh, yes, this is like self-care, but also that could lead to self-blame.
Yeah.
So maybe think in a broader perspective, you know, like, there's other people out there, they're also going through the same thing as we are. They might be struggling even more than us. They just don't say it. We'll never know. It's okay. But just be like, you know, thank you for your time, and these are the lessons that respectively learned, you know.
And what is the saying? It's like, you learn the subject,
pat the hand. I don't know how
it takes two hands to clap, okay?
Sure, yeah.
The translation, but it makes sense, right? That you can't no sound lor. Pat. I make it yourself. For you. Yeah. But no,
I get what you mean.
I mean, my point I already kind of covered, but just one thing that I really want to say is, because I think how being in toxic relationships, or just like poorly managed relationships, tied to our living abroad experience, is that because what you just mentioned is like, we were in a new environment.
Yes.
Everything is just like, oh, so exciting, so new, and like our tolerance level for people just
way higher.
And also, like, people are like way more charming to us somehow, and that kind of just affected everything. It kind of affected my relationship as well, because I felt both my long distance relationship. I wouldn't say it's not because like I cheated on anyone. That's not the reason why we broke up, but I guess also because like new things, more exciting things, and it's like, you know, not enough attention, just divert attention. A lot of factors, but yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing. Kind of just had to experience it.
Well, and especially
during my time.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know about you, but for me was like, because I was abroad, I don't think I was 100% independent, I would say, because I was dependent on a lot of things. I was dependent on, you know, the International Association Club. I was dependent on my friends. I was dependent on my significant other. So it was a lot of that translated to like me trying to adapt to the place. I have to constantly have people around me that I find fun, or like find very engaging, or like not necessarily good for me, but just like have people around me that like, oh, I think they're giving me somewhat attention, sure, I'll take it, kind of thing, because that will minimize my, you know, loneliness, or you know, I think that's a lot to do with that.
Yeah, that happens.
Because my parents aren't there, and it's a lot of that.
I would say when I knew you back in college, I could sense that kind of like you always want to be with friends, surrounded by friends. That's how, like, I couldn't sense the loneliness that you might have, but I guess, you know, you
that
just
translated,
put together.
It makes sense,
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, for me, it's a little. We're getting more and more distracted, but okay, I'll just
Go for
talk
it.
about it. It's just, for me, it's a little different, because I guess
for what is different?
The loneliness part
In back then,
when I was abroad, I somehow I really enjoy that. I enjoy that so much. Like, I love my family, but with them, it's always like, it's a lot of people. It's very crowded.
It's very loud.
It's quite loud. And in Hong Kong, I wouldn't say I have a lot of friends. I've quite, you know, some friends.
Come on, man.
And I always take my time. I always basically maxed out all my time to like meet up with this friend and that friend. Like, I would schedule everything, and to the point where I I love hanging out with them, but the moment I finally got to be on my own, I was so exhausted. Like, it basically exhausts all my social energy. It doesn't give me enough time to think, to do what I really want to do on my own. And not until that I was abroad, so I don't have all the friends I have to meet. I didn't have my family around, and I can actually fully enjoy my own space. And I love that so much.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really wouldn't mind just going to cafes on my own. I traveled a bit on my own. I did a lot of stuff on my own. And
that's great. It gave you the space and that gave you the time to actually know a little bit about yourself, right?
Yeah.
And what you like.
Exactly. I remember there's like this like 10 level of like poisonous. The poison as in, you know, what people call in Hong Kong, like it's kind of like nerds poison people stuff. And like level, I remember like level 6 is sort of like going to like parks on your own. Level 7 is like going to beaches on your own, and like level 10 is like going to Ocean Park or Disneyland on your own.
What level were you?
I think I reached 7 or 8.
Not bad. Damn. I'm definitely at level 1.
I enjoyed that. Truly.
But yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for starting this topic with me. I had a lot of time traveling down that memory lane, really.
I think we could share our final thought that I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Like one memory lane that I wanted to talk about was my final marketing proposal / project. Sounds very boring. Yes.
Business.
Yeah, so what it was me forming a group in my class with like 3 or 4 other people. It was a group project. We had to come into consensus to one business idea that has never been done before in the world. We have to create a marketing strategy.
It's kind of like that Apprentice, the show, the Netflix show, Apprentice.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Please go ahead.
So I mean, yeah. Like long story short, it was that. It was creating a brand or creating a business that has never been done before, and why you think it will work in the year of 2017. Let's say that.
What did you guys?
You know what I did?
What is it?
I need to think about what was it. I don't even remember that. It was a hookah lounge.
Ooh.
Hookah cafe lounge. Hookah cafe workspace. It was something that is existing now.
You should have
in Hawaii.
To Hong Kong.
In Hawaii. Because it was
time.
It was a local. It was supposed to be for locally.
Yeah. Even if you did that in Hong Kong at that time, it didn't exist.
I should have pitched to you. You know, Anyways, yeah, I thought about that, and I can't believe I sold those like people who didn't know anything about hookah. They were like, yeah, sure, let's do it, man. Like it was like that, and I think long story short, what I wanted to say was it kind of, now that I think about it, it kind of made sense. Like what I'm doing now for my work at my workplace has a little bit to tie into like that moment. It like had this like connectivity where I was able to use my creativity and a little bit of my passion and bridge everything together, and was able to collaborate with other people and come up with a product, or come up with like a plan, right? And that's kind of a little bit of what I'm doing now, and what I wanted to share was that one moment I was like, haha, like maybe I could do something like this maybe in 5-6 years, you know? And now that I think about it, I think that was what college meant for me, was really, yeah, maybe I study marketing, but I'm not doing that specifically. It doesn't have to be like that for everybody as well. And it's just a great way to not limit yourself. It's a great way to try everything. And it's a great way to just kind of like push yourself and lean towards what you like. And then kind of like just kind of own it and do more research on it and try to tie into that for your projects or to your professors. So I think it's I don't know, kind of
it's a time of exploring yourself and really stepping out of your comfort zone.
That was the only part, one of the main kind of project that it allowed me to be like, you know what, it's like you free flow, you know, and like no matter what you'll pass kind of thing. And because of that, it kind of set me to like a limitless mindset, because I think what he said was, oh, you'll pass no matter what. And he said that because it was just more like a kind of end bonus project, because all the exams were done. And so they just wanted something to kind of wrap it up as a gift for us. And so when I did that, I was like, oh wow, that was actually a very very good experience that I might not be able to do it now. But I mean, I could do it now differently, but before it was just like I was younger, I wasn't fully developed in my mindset. So I don't know, just like a great connection now that I think about it.
But I see a lot of like you right now in the Joyce back then.
Do you?
I feel like
that's so scary. I don't like myself back then.
But you have been this way. I mean, not in those like slightly less mature parts that you talk about just now, but as in like the taking initiative and like having the like marketing mindset and always thinking about, you know, like starting your own thing, like everything. It's a line. I would say that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm great that something aligned in college. Like maybe 95% of the things didn't align, but yeah, I think
overall experience
I rated 7.5 out of 10.
Admit it or not, it definitely shaped you the way you are right now, right?
Definitely did.
So yeah, okay. We talked about like all the experience that we had when we're abroad. Like academically or like practically living in a different country. So because it's a different country, right? We have to talk about the cultural stuff. So let's talk about it on a more cultural aspect.
Okay.
You were in Hawaii. You were in California.
I was.
What have I wouldn't say learn. It sounds like a really cliche word, but what are your
thoughts?
Some thoughts, some takes on the culture experience in there.
Okay, so maybe a little bit about my experience in Monterey Bay. It was 70% people locally, which was like Americans, and then it was 30% of like studied like students abroad, international students.
Okay, that's an alright mix. It's not like 9-10.
Yeah, but it was in a sense it was a little imbalanced because it was still 70-30, that automatically there was like cliques. It was like the Asian day students. It was like there's always cliques, you know. And I mean, I'm not trying to say if it's bad or good, but like when I was in when I was in Monterey Bay, that was definitely like less diverse that I saw, because I was just, I mean, I love my friends now. They're like from Taiwan, they're from Korea, you know, it's all Asians, right? So that was just like that. It was a little hard to blend in because also my period of time there. So, and I had much time to know them from the ground up. It was kind of rushed. So in a way that experience wasn't like fully diverse. But when I was in Hawaii, that definitely everything was like different because everybody kind of looked like me too. Like there was like more Asians than white people there, or Caucasian. So for Hawaii, the experience was like very multicultural. It was like mostly like Asian Americans. It was like Koreans, a lot of Koreans living there, a lot of Japanese people who like actually like visited there and they loved it there, so they like built a family there and lived there, right?
Who wouldn't love Hawaii?
I know. So for me, that was like definitely a unique experience. Oh, I wanted to say that my college roommates, it was like the college assigned it, right? So I didn't pick it. My college roommate, first freshman roommate she was white, and then my other friend that lived across, she was like Shanghainese, and she lived with a girl who was from the East Coast, I think. And then the four of us became like really good friends.
That's nice.
So that was like, I would say that's also very multicultural because it's 50-50, right? Yeah. But everybody there was extremely friendly in Hawaii, and you know.
Yeah.
And everybody has that aloha spirit. I don't know, I wanted to stress that, like, that aloha spirit is not as cliche when you're there, because you can experience it as soon as you walk out the door, as soon as you start driving.
I think so.
Like, it's like in Hong Kong, like, you have to kind of like rush your way, or like you have to like be very forceful when you change lanes. But in Hawaii, everybody lets you change lanes, and then now you want to let people change it, and then no one's changing lanes, and that causes like traffic jams. So that's the beauty of it, you know. It's that I wanted to stress, that aloha spirit, that aloha vibe was very, very like strong, and I think that translated to a little bit of my outgoingness, my bubbliness, a little bit. There's a little balance between my positivity. Like, I think that now that I think about it, Hawaii had made some kind of impact on that.
Bubbly spirit.
Yeah.
That's why you're bubbles.
For Halloween. How about you? I think, I really want to know. Share a bit about Taiwan, because we all know Erica loves Taiwan. So please do share kind of like the cultural experience that you had, and
I would say, well, I went there for exchange, right? And I was not expecting a lot of studies, because no one studied during exchange.
Yeah, everyone just wants to party.
Yeah, I mean, I did party a lot too. And partying
So what is a lot?
A lot is...
What is your definition of a lot? Like once a week? Twice a week?
Twice.
That's not that many lah, is it?
Twice party, but other times we're...
drinking.
Well, it's not a lot, but like, and you think about it, it's every single week, twice per week, and then the weekend we definitely have something to do.
Yeah.
Some hangouts.
Well, that's like the only time parties. To do it, you know.
Yeah, I was only restricting to like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got it. Anyways, I went to school for a bit, and the one thing that I'm most that impressed me the most, and also really the most memorable, is that the people there actually love, like the students there actually love going to school. They love studying. They love awesome. the whole what do you call that? Like the college experience,
the educational experience,
how you experience.
Okay. That's so cute.
Yeah, and it's so pure, so like they're actually like, I don't know how to say it, because you know, like in America, people love hanging around in the campus as well. But it could get a little more a lot of partying, like, you know, fraternities, and it's more like it's more messy. But in Taiwan and those universities, I would say it's very Chengchon. Yeah, it's really like watching a Taiwanese.
That's so interesting.
TV show.
I feel like people will need to watch a Taiwanese movie to understand what you said.
Yeah.
Or experience it, you know?
Yeah, true.
Oh,
it's
cute.
I love it a lot. And outside of campus, I would just say in general, Taiwanese people really love what they're doing. A lot of them. They enjoy life a lot. Well, because on a geographical sense, they do got the sea, the food, the fruits, they got everything. If I'm in Taiwan, I would happily just like drive down to like Hualien for like a weekend getaway for diving. I could go to Kending for surf, and I feel like people in Kending is actually a little like those in Hawaii too, because when you're in a very tropical place, when you're mostly surrounded by tourists, and all you do is, you know, organizing a lot of just touristing. You just organizing resorts and like teaching surfing class. There's not much that would stress you out.
Right. There's nothing to stress about. You're just trying to enjoy. You're just there to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Pretty
I mean,
much,
of course,
and the experience.
You care about the money, but if you really care about that much, you wouldn't be spending your time there.
Okay.
You would pick a different job.
Okay. Yeah. I get it.
So I just really, really enjoy my time there. Yeah, safe to say that. So yeah, then I went to UK for a year too. That is very, very different.
Different? Why? How is it different?
Well, to be honest, when I was there, I didn't enjoy UK at all.
What?
Not at all. I didn't enjoy UK that much.
Why not?
I enjoy being there on my own. I enjoy my time alone.
Okay, but you didn't enjoy living there.
I didn't. But now that I think about it, I miss it.
Oh, okay. But why? Okay, let's go back track then. Like, why back then you think you didn't enjoy it?
Well, first off, because that was when I feel truly lonely. Yeah, because despite me experiencing the most multicultural experience, of my life, because I went there for postgrad, so I didn't, even though I went to Brighton, which a lot of local students go to, I didn't actually meet a lot of local students. In fact, I didn't even have one single friend from Hong Kong when I was there.
Oh wow.
I didn't make any friends, any Hong Kong friends. I meet people from all over the world. In fact, my roommates, I have 4 roommates. We're from almost each different part of the world. One is from Iceland, one is from America, one is from Pakistan, one is from India, one is from mainland China. So like literally almost every part of the world. So different, but I felt homesick. Yeah.
How come?
I felt homesick as I miss Hong Kong.
Right, because it's so different.
Yeah, it's.
But you weren't homesick at all in Taiwan.
I was not, because it's so close to Hong Kong.
The proximity was close.
Yeah, I was a little homesick when I was in UK.
Right.
But then I balanced it out because like I can spend time on my own and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, culturally, I think UK people are. I need some time to get used to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they could get really, or maybe just the people that I met,
you encountered,
I encountered, quite trashy.
Trashy, really?
Yeah, and also quite dirty.
Maybe it's
in
the
terms
people.
Of cleanliness.
Maybe it's that moment in time. The people that you just so have met weren't necessarily.
Yeah, I'm talking about like strangers, because not really
not
the people that not acquaintance, as those are not really from the UK.
Got
anyways.
it.
But yeah, so it's just very distinctly different from Taiwan experience.
And the way you experienced Taiwan was like so much different than the UK. Like that really showed.
So much different. I couldn't lie. I love both experiences.
Right.
But UK is just, maybe if I stay there longer,
maybe you'll change a little bit about it, the way you perceive it.
Yeah. Regardless, I still want to go back. But yeah.
Maybe not for study abroad.
Maybe for
work.
I don't know. I might change. I change all the time.
Ask Erica in a week.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's just that moment when I was there, it was not the most enjoyable time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I guess we have talked about most and everything.
We have. I think one thing, lastly, did we talk about this kind of? What was, I guess, how did this whole experience, like, I mean, it was a short experience, but it was quite memorable for you, like, here and there, right?
Yeah.
How did those experiences, or the people that you've encountered, the lessons that you learned, how has that, in one kind of package, shaped you as a person that you are now? And what is the biggest, like, takeaway and learning?
If I have to really say one, I think, well, because my experience is a little different from yours, right? I went there more so to like experience living abroad more than actually studying.
Yeah.
And I went there at a much later stage, much later age. So I did meet people. I would say I meet people from all over the world more than I met locals.
Right.
Either Taiwan or UK. And what I really do think that you know I remember the most about is that when people from all over the world, we just like gather and we like talk about all these different topics, like cultural wise or like historical issues or like just like random gossips, and there's no judgment, no background search. No one would be like go on to LinkedIn and like, oh, let me just do a quick, you know, background search on you first, blah blah blah. It was really nice, but at the same time, it makes me feel kind of ignorant at times, because I feel like I've always been in my own like kind of little zone, little circle, where I know most stuff that my friends are talking about. So I feel like that was enough, that was sufficient. But it was not until like I went outside of my circle, I meet other people, and then I figured like they pay attention to stuff way more than I do, and in much deeper sense. Much
the
depth.
way is the world is bigger than you imagine, than you think in your
Basically.
circle.
And I was just feeling quite stupid at the time. And so to sum it up, it's like, for me right now, I still feel like there are so many areas where I am just touching on the surface level on, and so just there's a lot of improving
Yeah,
for
constantly,
me.
right?
Yeah, it just reminds myself every day of those experience, because I don't like feeling stupid.
That's one thing we learned about Eric, guys. Remember we talked about it last week? The one thing that you want people to think of you is smart.
Not exactly. That's
Is
not
it,
how
was
I
it?
put it.
Wait, you said it as the one thing that you want people to perceive you now is intelligent. Didn't we talk about this last week?
So something along the
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I definitely I don't like that sense of feeling like stupid.
No one will find
likes
you.
that. Okay,
Yeah,
no one likes that.
but no one would find you stupid. You know,
Well, I'm very self-conscious in
you
that
are.
way. Yeah, I don't like not knowing what's going on. I don't have to like just join into your conversation every time, but I want to know what's going on. Yeah, that's like a little bit of a nosy /
We're so different.
we're so different.
Because I think for you, it's like even if you're not interested in a topic, you still want to contribute in it with your own POV, regardless if you like it or not, right? And then for me, Joyce being Joyce in her Alice in Wonderland, as soon as a topic doesn't trigger me in any sense,
You went to your wonder.
I'm like gone.
Yeah,
Like
you
I'm so
do.
obviously gone, and it's like I think it's something that I need to kind of learn too. It's like maybe in a good way. Good way, it's like okay. Bad way is I need to be more attentive to other people and try to kind of not limit myself to knowledge, right? But in a good way, if I have to like balance it out, I always have like a positive to it. Is that I stress less. You know, facts. It's like, because if I'm constantly in a social setting or something, and then someone says something I don't understand, and then I have to like,
I would go home and Google it.
I know you would need to like, oh my god, I need to prove a point, and yeah, like do something after that. I appreciate that, but I need to also like, maybe for me, maybe I can't handle that because I'll be too stressed about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just built differently.
We're just built differently.
Yeah. But how about you? How has that shaped you as a person right now?
Yeah, lastly, I think study abroad was for everything, right? I think with how should I say it? Because it's a lifestyle that I would probably I won't experience ever again. I'm at this like reminiscing phase, like right now, ask me in like 5 years, okay? But like right now I'm like at this reminiscing phase where I'm like, I feel like everything is like quite stable in my life, like my day-to-day is quite normal, quite straightforward.
You have a routine.
I have like multiple routines now, but I had 0 routines back then. Right now, like my skincare step now is like 10 steps. My skincare back then was like -5, you know? It's like nothing. So now that I think about it, it was like actually very fun, but with fun, I wanted to be like, I wanted to say that it was quite challenging mentally, right? It was like, a lot of fun things, or a lot of things that were happening, but the way I dealt with it was very mindless.
I guess I kind of get why that's happening, because you stressed easily, so like the way for you to not stress, and because you're a younger age, right, you don't deal with stress that well, so for you not to stress out that easily, it's like go through some of them without thinking too much, or just
going by guts,
skip some of the steps, and
go by your gut feeling,
exactly,
right?
That's how you explain like mindlessly, right?
Yeah. So that's how I experienced a lot of things in college, right? And I mean, there really was no regrets. I would say I still had a lot of fun there, and I wouldn't take away this opportunity at all, because it definitely has shaped me the way I want myself to be honest. And I've learned to be somewhat, independent, and I definitely learned how to be more open-minded, and how I approach things doesn't have to be just one straight line. It could be, a full circle. It could be different shapes and sizes, and I feel like I'm quite adaptable now in life as well, and that's what really that experience taught me. And I think in terms of just like people wise, I've known better. I know what kind of people are good for me, what people I want to surround myself with now. And then career wise was just like kind of just really trial and error, right? Like knowing that, these are the things that ticked me, and these are the things that I'm not interested in, so how do I transition that into my career moving on? So it's a lot of like self-exploratory, a lot of trial and error experiences during the 6 years, and I appreciate that now, because I if you ask me would I go back and do it again, I probably wouldn't, because I'm more content now. But I think these experiences are just very vital and very essential to a younger human being.
Could you imagine if you like didn't go abroad and you actually studied in Hong Kong?
I cannot. I don't think I would be happy, to be honest. Like, just from the gut feeling, because I had a reason when I left, right? And I still stand by it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you.
Good to know.
I'll tell you off the podcast, boy. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it. And thank you guys for listening, and we hope your day is as peachy as this episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Like and rate this podcast on Spotify and iTunes.
Comment or DM us on any of our social media platforms as well. Talk to you in the next one.
Bye.